So what we found is that 83% of people believe that Boris Johnson broke lockdown rules, which is a staggeringly high percentage. Not only that, but 44% of people now think that they wouldn't follow future rules were they introduced because they believe the people setting these rules haven't been following them. And perhaps most damningly, just 23% of people now think Boris Johnson is the right person to be Prime Minister. And that's considerably below the percentage of people who even say they'd vote Conservative. So clearly Boris Johnson a drag now on the Conservative
So
ground.
does that have clout? Will that result in a reaction at Conservative Party Central Office?
I think that clearly MPs now are thinking that this is a very dangerous situation. I've been speaking to some over the course of last night who are deeply spooked. Of course, over the weekend, many went back to their constituencies, managed to speak to their constituency associations. We know we've got the local elections coming up in just a few months' time, and people are worried about losing their seats, about this double-digit poll lead for the Labour Party. And I think that compounded by evidence like this is making MPs incredibly jumpy, incredibly nervous. It's striking what they'll say in private, even though they may not want to say this stuff in public yet.
So if that's what it's making happen within Conservative ranks, with Labour, is there or would there be a spring in their step looking at this? What are we talking about?
13 points,
wasn't it?
yeah.
13-point lead for them.
Yes, definitely. I mean, tomorrow we're going to see Prime Minister's questions. Interestingly, yesterday the Prime Minister's spokesman couldn't confirm to the lobby whether or not the Prime Minister would actually attend Prime Minister's questions. Now, I think it's probably likely that he will, but the very fact that that was a bit of an open question is really quite striking. So no doubt Keir Starmer will be making hay over this. 83% thinking that the Prime Minister, in effect, is lying to the House of Commons. That's an incredibly strong position for Keir Starmer to be starting from. And, of course, although there was that story about Keir Starmer enjoying a drink during times of restrictions, clearly that hasn't had exactly the same cut-through as these multiple stories.
Isabel has a theory as to why that should be.
Well, I guess a lot of people would say, look at his track record, and can you think of an example where Keir Starmer's been found to lie before, and then look at Boris Johnson's. But I tell you what, somebody who has been found to lie before, and that is Dominic Cummings, isn't stopping lobbing his grenades, is he? And they might actually be helping Keir Starmer. He might be using some of that material in PMQs tomorrow. The question is, if the Prime Minister is found to have lied to Parliament, which is what Dominic Cummings is now alleging and is prepared to swear on oath saying, that surely has to be the thing that brings him down. That must be the resigning matter.
Well, that would be an incredibly serious situation. I was talking to one senior Conservative MP last night who has not been a fan of Dominic Cummings, and let's not forget many Conservative MPs are really not the biggest fans in the world of Dominic Cummings, and there's no love lost between those two groups. But really, the situation by which Dominic Cummings would say that he'd swear that on oath would be so specific in what was said to the Prime Minister. Many Conservative MPs now think, why on earth would he be saying that if it were not the truth?